The skeletons went in different directions and quickly found and killed big ear rabbits. He was so proficient in leveling up that it only took him 30 minutes to reach level 2. Because he leveled up, all of his spirit was replenished, so he summoned 2 more skeleton soldiers to join the hunt. The new level 2 skeleton soldiers dashed off, and as the notification kept coming in, Lin unlocked a map. He noticed that his skeleton warriors missed a monster, however this gave him a good opportunity to try out his Soul Blaze skill. He instantly killed the level 2 Grey Cat, and soon afterwards he reached level 2. With his spirit replenished again, Lin summoned 3 more skeleton soldiers to join the hunt. With the new improvements to his army, level 5 and even level 6 monsters were easily killed. A student could stay inside the dungeon for 12 hours, and in just 4 hours Lin had reached level 4, and it's taking him less than an hour to level up. Outside the dungeon, Principal Lu and Zia's father were having a discussion. Principal Lu mentioned that Zia was very hardworking and that she might be able to reach level 5 like her seniors Su Kaian Xing and Lin Mohan. The novice dungeon served as a test to see how fast the newbies could level up. And if Zia couldn't reach level 5 on the first day, it would be hard for her to enter Zia Jing Academy. Principal Lin is also wondering what level Lin would be able to reach with his unique profession. Everyone knows that once you step foot into the dungeon, you would be kicked out after 12 hours. Zia's father had also heard about Lin's awakening. Principal Lu told him that Lin had awakened the necromancer profession, but no one knew how powerful it was, so the two were waiting to see what level the student would be after the 12 hours. Inside the dungeon, Lin's skeleton warriors could move 500 meters away from him, so he could stay in a safe area and farm experience points. Lin continued to level up rapidly in the dungeon, but after 7 hours had passed, he had yet to encounter a level 8 monster. He decided to leave the safe area, and after walking for a while he came across a forest. And as he was about to enter the forest, he got attacked by a tree branch. However, he was unharmed thanks to his passive skill that transferred all the damage he received to one of the skeleton warriors. The giant level 8 bullwhip tree stood ahead of him. The level 8 monster he was desperately searching for was now in front of him, and all Lin could do was wonder how much damage the tree could take from his skeletons. And with a thought, he ordered a skeleton warrior to attack the tree, but surprisingly the tree monster wasn't killed in one hit. The tree countered, so Lin ordered the other skeleton warriors to attack the tree, and after 4 hits the tree was defeated. Being able to kill level 8 monsters will greatly increase his leveling speed. And looking around, he saw that the forest was filled with hundreds of trees, making it a leveling up sanctuary. Lin commanded the skeleton warriors to attack the bullwhip trees, and as the skeletons made their way through the forest, they proceeded to cut down the bullwhip trees. Outside the dungeon, a portal appeared, but it hadn't been 12 hours yet, so everyone observing was wondering if there was trouble or if someone cleared the dungeon. Lin stepped out of the portal. After killing all the monsters inside, he had reached level 7. Principal Lu was in shock. However, Lin was disappointed that he couldn't reach level 8 even though he killed all of the monsters, so he wanted to go to Zai High Suburbia. Principal Lu was speechless, and he didn't respond, so Lin called out to him. And after recovering from the shock, Principal Lu agreed to get Lin his traveling certificate and instructed him to rest. As Principal Lu made his way back to his seat, he was flooded with questions, wondering why Lin exited the dungeon so quickly. He sat down, grabbed his drink, and told them that Lin had killed every monster inside the novice dungeon. Everyone was stunned. Lin's profession was showing to be more powerful than legendary professions. Lin's future was looking bright. But Zia's father was concerned for his daughter since she was competing with Lin. Principal Lu told him not to worry since his daughter's spirit was never broken even though she never won against Lin. Lin meditated to replenish his spirit, and by now he had summoned a total of 24 skeleton warriors. But he still has 70 spots to fill. A while later, the 12-hour time limit was up, and Zia came out of a portal. She was happy because she managed to reach level 5, and she looked around for Lin to see what level he reached. However, much to her surprise, Lin was already out of the dungeon waiting for the 12 hours time limit to end. He was also able to reach level 7. Her father called out to her, and after they got into the car, Ding Yang noticed that Zia was down, so he asked her if she needed help to surpass Lin. She refused, determined to surpass Lin with her own strength. However, this would prove to be difficult. Lin had already killed level 8 monsters when she was barely able to kill one level 7 monster. On the way back from the novice dungeon, Gao grabbed onto Lin, begging him to form a party with him next time. Lin agreed and told him that he would be waiting at the school entrance. However, the next day Lin was nowhere to be found, and Principal Lu had to tell Gao that Lin went to Zia High Suburbia. Gao shouted at the top of his lungs, demanding to battle Lin the next time they meet, and he is advised otherwise because he stood no chance. At the Shin Zia Empire exchange, Lin went through the identification process and he was granted a level 1 access to the Shenzi Empire exchange. Lin looked through the mission available at the exchange and came across one paying 10,000 gold to raid a dungeon and defeat the level 14 boss monster, Goblin King. Dungeons are divided into 3 categories: normal difficulty, nightmare difficulty, which is much more difficult than normal and requires a party to clear, and then there's the hell difficulty. That's so difficult that you need a party of hunters with rare and above professions to challenge it. So it was out of the question for Lin right now. Lin handed the exit permit to one of the guards. The guard confirmed Lin's identity. He was confused why a level 7 student was allowed to exit the city, but the exit permit was real, so the guard activated the exit permit and gave Lin a warning to run away if he encountered anything too dangerous. Lin exited the city gate and instantly he could tell from the beasts growling that the outside world is different from the cities. Lin noticed a goblin behind him and summoned a skeleton warrior to kill the level 10 goblin. When being compared to his level 7 skeleton warrior, the level 10 goblin was too weak. Lin summoned all of his skeleton warriors to seek out and kill the rest of the goblins, and at the rate at which his skeletons were killing the goblins reaching level 15 before the exams shouldn't be a problem. However, his sister had reached level 16 before her exam, and he wondered how she did it. He recalled his sister and was more driven to pass the exams for Jiajing Academy. After a while of hunting the goblins, Lin reached level 10 and his skills had also improved. He could now summon a bronze rank skeleton warrior. The bronze skeleton warrior stats had increased a lot, and it could also use a rage shot skill that did 200% damage and had a cooldown of 10 seconds. With the upgrades to his army, it wouldn't be hard for Lin to rule the area. But while looking around, he realized that he killed all of the nearby monsters. Suddenly, he noticed an arrow flying towards him. He noticed it too late, and he got hit. Luckily, the damage was transferred to one of the skeleton warriors. Lin came face to face with a figure dressed in black. He got a good look of her as she ran past him, and from the way she was dressed he could tell that she had the assassin profession. And after she disappeared, an archer and a mage appeared. They seemed to be looking for the assassin girl, but they were heading in the wrong direction. They stopped and asked Lin if he had seen the assassin girl, but instead of answering, Lin wanted them to apologize for shooting him with an arrow. The archer, looking at the ground, apologized to Lin, even though he was confused how Lin didn't take any damage. The mage's expression changed, and he asked Lin if he was the one who summoned the skeleton warrior. The skeleton warrior stepped in between them, and the mage was convinced that Lin was a bad guy since he was controlling the dead, and he raised his staff to attack. However, the archer stopped him, and the two walked away. As the archer and mage walked away, Lin noted that if they would have attacked him, then he would have had to kill them. Later that night, Lin's bronze-rank skeleton warriors were easily wiping out the monsters in the area. However, after hitting level 10, the amount of experience he needed to level up increased by a lot, and to reach level 11, he would have to kill 5,000 goblins, which is an impossible task to get done in one night. And since it was nighttime, he couldn't head back to the city. He summoned 4 more bronze skeletons, and he continued to push further. Later in the night, Lin set up a campfire deep in the forest. Afterwards, he was deep in thought about his leveling speed. He still couldn't figure out how his sister was able to reach level 16. He recalled a memory of his sister returning from the Zihai Mines dungeon, injured, and he concluded that she must have formed a party and challenged the nightmare difficulty. With this, he was more determined to find out the truth, and he decided that he would investigate his theory in the morning. With the skeleton warriors on guard, Lin began to meditate. Later that night, the skeleton warriors noticed footsteps approaching, and then notified Lin. The footsteps got closer, and the assassin girl from earlier appeared in front of him asking for food. He took out a boiled potato he had stashed away and handed it to her. The girl pulled down her mask and quickly started devouring the potato. Lin noticed that she started choking, so he took out a bottle of water and handed it to her. She drank the bottle of water, and after thanking him, she asked for his name. Lin didn't respond, so instead she suggested that they used analysis skill to trade information. Lin agreed, and the both of them activated the skill. However, to Lin's surprise, the spell failed and he couldn't get any information about the girl. But the girl, on the other hand, was able to see his name and his profession. This was the first time she had seen the necromancer profession, but she recalled the skeleton that Lin had next to him the last time they ran into each other. Lin calmly looked at her as she blabbered on, and he asked a question: why? The girl was delighted that Lin was speaking to her, but again he looked at her and calmly asked her why. She realized that Lin wanted to know why his spell failed but hers didn't, so she pulled out a blocking badge, which she had stashed away in her shirt. blocking badge blocked anyone 10 levels below you from seeing your information. The girl put the badge away and asked Lin to use the spell on her again. Lin activated the spell and this time it was a success. The girl's name was Ningyi, a level 19 shadow assassin. Suddenly their expressions changed and both of them turned to face a certain direction. It was the archer and mage from earlier, and this time they were joined by a knight. They were trying to secretly surround them, but Lin had already noticed their presence. As Ningyi was about to run away, the archer shot an arrow. She reacted in time and was able to dodge the arrow. The arrow exploded and red arrow icons appeared above Lin and Ningyi's head. These arrows were marking arrows, and they are specially made to counter those with the assassin profession. The mage from earlier appeared out of nowhere, and with the archer and the knight, Lin and Ningyi were surrounded. Ningyi lifted her knife in a defensive stance and attempted to explain that Lin had nothing to do with her, but they didn't believe her. The archer who was on the tree decided to kill both of them so no one could find out that they had the mid-rank skill scroll. Lin was a level 10, so Ningyi decided to try and hold them off, while Lin runs away. However, Lin was concerned for her. She attempted to convince him that she could run away after he was safe, but Lin already knows that the mark above her head countered the invisibility skill the shadow assassin profession had. With a signal from the archer, the mage raised his staff, getting ready to take both their lives with his attack. The mage used the illumination skill, making the surroundings as bright as day. This skill increased the range of his other abilities, chased away darkness, and further countered the assassin's invincibility skill. Ningyi became tense, and the archer on the tree drew his bow ready to shoot. The knight stood with his shield, and the mage's staff was illuminating the area. They were surrounded with no escape. Lin called for one of his skeleton warriors. The mage, seeing the skeleton, showed disdain towards Lin and his skeletons. He angrily used the fireball spell, expecting that Lin would become a pile of ashes. Ningyi grabbed onto Lin's arm so they could run away, but her legs had been caught by spiritual strings. With the fireball skill heading for Lin, the archer used his triple shot skill and fired arrows at Ningyi. Trying to protect Lin, Ningyi pushed him, but instead she pushed him in the direction of the fireball. In an instant, two skeleton warriors appeared, one protecting Lin from the fireball by taking the hit, and the other blocking the archer's arrows. The knight tried to attack the skeleton by bashing it with his shield, but he was pushed back. The mage couldn't believe that a level 10 necromancer could summon a skeleton that could resist his level 20 fireball, and as the skeleton approached him, he begged it not to come closer. The knight and the archer were also stunned that their attack didn't have a single effect. Lin summoned more and more of his skeleton knights until the mage, the archer, and the knight were completely surrounded. Ningyi was also stunned. She had seen Lin's skeletons earlier today. The skeletons appeared worn out, yet they were still so strong. She questioned why the archer and the mage's attack did nothing to the skeletons summoned by a level 10. She turned to Lin, whose eyes were filled with murderous intent, and without a thought all of the skeleton warriors attacked. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button.